The wandless wonders. Kicking off our list at the bottom are the wandless wonders. These are the individuals who prove that simply being born with magical blood doesn't guarantee a ticket to the top. First up, we have the squibs. Take Argus Filch, for instance, trapped in a school filled with 11-year-olds who can levitate feathers while he's left to chase them around with a lantern like a ghost in a Victorian tale. His only ally? Mrs. Norris, the cat, with more talent than he possesses. And then there are the accidental magic disasters. Remember Harry Potter's childhood? He was a walking catastrophe, from vanishing glass at the zoo to blowing up Aunt Marge like a balloon. If you thought that was chaotic, wait until you hear about the frauds. Gilderoy Lockhart? Anyone? He's got a wand but lacks any real talent. When he attempts to perform a memory charm, he wipes his own memory instead. This tier is truly the magical world's lowest setting, where people either can't use magic, shouldn't use it, or are just pretending. Hogwarts hazards. Moving up, we encounter the Hogwarts hazards. These are students who can perform magic, but you almost wish they couldn't. Let's spotlight Neville Longbottom, who had a knack for raising his teacher's heart rates. Remember when he dangled from a broomstick, crashing to the ground like a sack of potatoes? Or Seamus Finnegan, whose specialty was blowing things up, literally. With mishaps like Ron Weasley's slug-vomiting potion and Crabbe and Goyle's fiery fiend fire fiasco, it's clear that while these students might have magic, they're chaotic and inconsistent at best. Hogwarts may teach magic, but it certainly doesn't teach common sense. The spell-slinging side characters at level 3, we meet the spell-slinging side characters, those who can handle themselves, but are generally just background noise. Think of the average ministry employee. They've passed their OWLS, but would likely run for cover when a Death Eater shows up. We can't forget the forgettable professors, like Professor Binns, who lectures his students to sleep, or Madam Hooch, who disappears after one flying lesson per book. These characters are like the non-player characters in a video game. Present, but not impactful. The decent, but disposable. At level 4, we finally meet the decent but disposable witches and wizards who can actually hold their own in a duel. They're skilled, competent, but nowhere near the headline act. Professors like Flitwick and Sprout fit here. They're great, but never in the spotlight when the big names appear. Even skilled fighters like Tonks or members of the Order of the Phoenix often find themselves sidelined when the heavy hitters like Dumbledore enter the scene. They are the backbone of the wizarding world, but when the stakes are high, they're often quietly shuffling to the side. Boss fight material. Now we're getting serious with level 5, where the real game changers reside. These witches and wizards can define a battle. Picture Professor McGonagall, stern and formidable. She can turn Hogwarts statues into an army. Or Kingsley Shacklebolt, who handles Death Eaters with effortless skill. Then there's Sirius Black. Wild and unpredictable, he brings a chaotic energy to any duel. And let's not forget Bellatrix Lestrange, who turns dueling into a twisted performance. At this level, the stakes are high, and everyone else better duck for cover. The Rule Benders level 6 is where the magic gets wild. These are the Rule Benders who don't just use magic, they reinvent it. Severus Snape, for example, was known for creating spells that left others in awe. Alastor Moody pushed the boundaries with his unconventional teaching methods. And then we have Gellert Grindelwald, a revolutionary who reshaped the magical world. These wizards take centuries of tradition and throw it out the window, leaving us astonished by their creativity and power. The Untouchable. Finally, we arrive at level 7, the Untouchable. This is the summit of magical prowess. Voldemort, with his terrifying power, and Dumbledore, the embodiment of wisdom and skill, exist in this elite echelon. Their mere presence changes the dynamics of any story. Even legendary figures like Merlin belong here, with a legacy so vast that no one dares to compare themselves. These are the apex predators of the wizarding world, forces of nature who rewrite the rules of magic itself. The hidden economics of the wizarding world. When Harry Potter first opened his Gringotts vault, he discovered mountains of gold galleons, a stark contrast to the Weasleys' nearly empty vault containing just a handful of coins. In a society where magic can conjure nearly anything, how does such dramatic wealth disparity exist? The answer reveals uncomfortable truths about the wizarding economy. Fortune built on innovation. Harry inherited substantial wealth, but its origins are more complex than simple family legacy. The Potter fortune traces back to Linfred of Stinchcombe, a medieval wizard who developed healing potions that became commercial staples. His experimental remedies evolved into products like Skeelgrow and Pepper-Up Potion, generating enormous profits. Centuries later, Harry's grandfather, Fleamont Potter, expanded the family wealth exponentially through Sleek Easy's hair potion. By capitalizing on cosmetic insecurities, He quadrupled the Potter fortune before selling the company. The Potter wealth represents entrepreneurial success. Yet it also reveals how wizarding fortunes are built through commercializing solutions to problems, magical or otherwise. The Malfoy model. The Malfoys represent a different path to riches entirely. Their wealth wasn't earned through invention or enterprise. It was inherited through generations of aristocratic privilege. As members of the sacred 28 pureblood families, the Malfoys controlled land, held ministry influence, and maintained their status through strategic marriages. This exclusive list functioned as social gatekeeping, determining who belonged to wizarding elite circles. The Malfoys leveraged their position to accumulate political power alongside their gold, demonstrating that in the wizarding world, influence matters as much as currency. Their wealth perpetuated itself through a system designed to maintain hierarchy. Poverty among purebloods. The Weasleys present a puzzling case. As purebloods and members of the Sacred 28, they should theoretically enjoy comfortable circumstances. Instead, they struggled with constant financial hardship, second-hand robes, broken wands, and an almost empty Gringotts vault. Multiple children and modest ministry salaries partially explain their situation, but something deeper seems at play. Despite older children earning steady incomes and the twins running a successful business, the family's finances never stabilized. Even their lottery winnings disappeared quickly. Their status as blood traders, purebloods who championed Muggleborns, may have cost them more than social standing. Some theorize their poverty wasn't circumstantial, but structural, possibly the result of old curses or systemic exclusion from pure-blood economic networks. Remus Lupin's story. Remus Lupin exemplifies how prejudice creates poverty, regardless of talent. Despite being brilliant and capable, his lycanthropy condemned him to perpetual financial struggle. Wizarding Society's refusal to employ werewolves trapped him in a cycle where his condition made employment nearly impossible. And unemployment reinforced stigma. His shabby robes and malnourished appearance weren't signs of incompetence. They were evidence of systematic discrimination. The wizarding world used prejudice as an economic weapon, ensuring marginalized groups remained powerless. Magic didn't eliminate inequality. It made exclusion more efficient. Banking and oppression. Every wizarding fortune flows through Gringotts, operated by goblins who manage security and maintain vaults. Yet goblins face systematic oppression, denied wands, political representation, and equal status. Wizards depend on goblin expertise, while refusing to share power or respect their cultural claims to goblin-made artifacts. This creates a disturbing irony. The entire wizarding financial system relies on exploiting the very beings who maintain it. Every vault, from Harry's to Voldemort's, exists within a structure built on subjugation, wealth, and friendship. Harry possessed more gold than he needed, while the Weasleys struggled constantly. Yet, he never offered financial help. This wasn't cruelty, but complicated social dynamics. Harry felt self-conscious about his wealth, and the Weasleys' fierce pride would never accept charity. The one time Harry gave money to Fred and George, he disguised it as tournament winnings. This tension reveals how wealth creates unspoken barriers, even in genuine friendships, and how pride can be both dignity and obstacle. Conclusion. The wizarding world's economy mirrors our own uncomfortable truths. Wealth concentrates through inheritance and exploitation. Prejudice manufactures poverty, and